A round brush is the paintbrush I most commonly use besides a Filbert brush. They create smooth, rounded lines, and when you apply less pressure, the lines are thin, and with more pressure, the lines become thicker. Now, if I use my red Filbert brush, I can get a thicker line here, but if I turn it, it will get thinner and thicker. Let me add a little bit more here. Let me try that again. So if it's flat, it's thicker, and if I turn it, it's thinner. We have an angular shader brush here. It's really cut at an angle, as you notice. I don't really use these very often, to be honest, because it's not the kind of style that my work is in, but I'm still going to show you just in case you are interested. You can either create little dots or lines like this, similar to hatch marks. It really has a nice texture. You can make a straight line by keeping it kind of straight up. And if you're laying it down on the side, you could get a thicker line. I'm going to use a really thick flat brush, and this can also give you a heavier line weight as well, how big your brush is. The smaller it is, the smaller your brush strokes are going to be, and the larger it is, the larger your brush strokes will look. Now when I lay my flat brush down like this, it's really giving me a wide brush stroke all the way across. And different than the Filbert brush, you see how it's rounded there? This one is just going to be a really nice edge. And you can do kind of what we were talking about before, some effects with this one. You can either kind of create some straight up and down vertical lines like that. You can hold it straight up and pull it across and get some pretty thin lines. You can turn it and get a nice like wave. This is a tiny little detail brush. So cute. And detail brushes are exactly that. Any kind of small things that you need to add in at the very end, you can really just get a very thin, tiny line here. It's very easy to control what you're putting in there depending on how much glazing liquid you have. You can add dots. I mean, honestly, you could do like any shape that you want with these tiny little detail brush because you have so much control over it. This one I really love for hair. It is called a pointed Filbert. So Filbert is usually rounded, right? But this one actually comes to a point. So it really gives realistic kind of hair texture. And let me kind of show you what I mean by this. So you can kind of lay it flat. And the harder you push, the thicker it's going to be. Here is a blender brush, and a blender brush is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. You can blend colors together really nicely with this, and it's very soft. A mop brush is similar to a blender brush as it creates very soft airbrush effects. I forgot to film this, so how I would use this is I would always use the brush dry and gently brush it over my wet paint to blend my colors together. I mainly use liner brushes for hair, eyebrows, and eyelashes. As you can see, they easily create long, distinct lines. Alright, and those are your paint brushes. Hopefully that helped.